Okay, once that seed is in that hopper up there, we have to get it down to the row unit, the planting unit here itself. And the way it does it is through this distribution box with all these big hoses coming out. As I said before, we use air pressure, about 22 pounds, to blow that seed through these tubes and into the top of these boxes. And you'll see that one's full. And it just quits blowing when it's full because it can't get the air out of the box. That seed comes down inside of here, and these will rotate this direction. And there's about 1.5 pounds of air pressure on the other side of these that pushes that seed against this disc. And that raises that seed up. When it gets up in this area up here, there's some rubber brush or some brushes in there that knock off any extra, so every one of these will have only one seed in it. The goal is, as we drop these in the ground, they're spaced evenly at about 6 inches apart all the time. So once they come around, they get down to this point, the air is blocked off. Right here, you can see this in behind here. There's no air pressure here, so once the seed hits this opening, it drops down through the tube. That tube goes down in between here. You've got a disc up front. You got a pair of these. So once that seed drops out in between those two discs into the ground, you see this little tail down here. That's got real light pressure on it. And it just kind of holds that seed down in the ground in its correct spot so it don't bounce around. Those tubes also have a liquid right here that run down through and dribble out the end of them tubes. You can see it kind of made a mess on my floor here. There's a little bit left in them. That liquid comes out of these tanks here, one on each side. That's just a little starter fertilizer to give that seed a little extra vigor, some early growth, because we do add our nitrogen with the planter. So up ahead here, we're all folded up. Let me walk back here, this will work better. We run a fertilizer disc opener, and that unit there puts down the main supply of nitrogen for our corn. So when it does that, we actually get that through this hose here, runs up through there, through this pump, and then meters it out to all 16 rows evenly for our fertilizer, which is 2 inches away from the seed row. So it's readily available. We don't have to use quite as much because we place it exact. And that fertilizer comes from that cart. See if I can get in there. Right down there. That's a 4-wheel cart that we pull liquid fertilizer in behind the planter. So that's how we get our seed through the planter into the ground. And we get our fertilizer in, everything done. And then these wheels back here, they go on either side of the seed trench and they close the trench. And these little guys back here just drag over top that ground to level it out so it's all perfectly smooth. We're shooting to have a uniform depth. We plant our seeds about 2.5 inches deep, and we want that as even as possible. So they all come out of the ground, hopefully about the exact same time or within a couple hours of each other.